Every morning, we wake up and simply assume the world will work. We flip a switch. The lights come on. We turn a faucet. Clean water flows. This comfort isn't magic. It's an intricate, invisible lattice of power lines, fiber optic cables, and highly specialized computers. A colossal system built on trust and sheer, relentless engineering. But what if that trust is broken? What if, somewhere in the deep network, a ghost decides to seize control? This is the heart of civilization. Critical infrastructure, the dams, the grids, the hospitals, the communication towers. For the people who hunt in the dark corners of the internet, these aren't just systems. They are catastrophic targets, the kind that can bring a modern nation to its knees. Tonight, on the Digital Sleuth, we are going to expose the fragile glass jaw of modern society. We're going inside the escalating war to protect the very things that keep us alive. We're talking about critical infrastructure protection. And the threat is no longer theoretical. It is here. It is now. To truly understand the gravity of critical infrastructure protection, or CIP, we have to stop thinking of cyber attacks as merely stolen credit cards or leaked emails. This is warfare. It's warfare, not with tanks and drones, but with lines of code, meticulously crafted to exploit a single, forgotten vulnerability. This is the premise of this entire cybercrime documentary. Our raw input data was simple: critical infrastructure protection. That simple phrase covers 18 separate sectors in the U.S. alone. Think about that scope, from the electric grid that powers our homes, to the water treatment plants that make our water safe, all the way down to the financial services that keep the economy moving. For decades, these systems were inherently safe because they were air-gapped, physically isolated from the open internet. But the push for efficiency, for remote monitoring, and for smart everything changed the game. The corporate information technology, or IT network, where you check your email, is now often connected to the operational technology, or OT network. These are the specialized systems. They're often called SCADA, Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition, or DCS. Distributed control systems. These are the engines that literally open the valves, spin the turbines, and manage the pressure in the physical world. When a malicious actor breaches the IT network, they use it as a bridge. The target isn't your data. The target is the physical world. The goal is to move from the abstract layer of the internet to the tactile world of pumps, pipes, and generators. This is the digital siege. The true criminal, in this context, is often not a lone wolf hacker in a basement. It's the sophisticated, patient work of nation-state actors. These groups, sometimes with names like Fancy Bear or Lazarus, are funded and directed to cause maximum geopolitical disruption. Their motivation isn't money. It's systemic destabilization. So, how do they do it? How does a hacker in one part of the world cause a physical, real-world catastrophe thousands of miles away? The method follows a predictable, terrifying structure. We call it the cyber kill chain. They start small with Phase 1, reconnaissance and infiltration. A target employee at an electric utility company receives an innocuous-looking email. It's a classic phishing attempt. But this isn't the spray and pray variety. This is spear phishing, meticulously tailored, perhaps referencing a project they're working on. Once the link is clicked, the malware is delivered. This is the initial access. It bypasses basic security because it was invited in. It's now inside the perimeter defense. Now we move to Phase 2, lateral movement and evasion. The software doesn't announce itself. It lurks. It uses techniques like keylogging to steal usernames and passwords. It maps the internal network, looking for the crucial pivot point. They are hunting for the connection between the IT side and the OT side. The network segmenting meant to stop them. The firewalls become puzzle pieces they must solve. They move laterally, quietly. They keep moving until they find an administrator account or a poorly configured remote access point that leads straight to the heart of the system, the human-machine interface for the turbines or the pumps. The final stage is deployment. The payload and impact. Once control is gained over the OT systems, the possibilities are devastating. It could be ransomware, encrypting the SCADA interface, locking operators out, demanding payment, as we saw with Colonial Pipeline, or it could be outright destruction, issuing commands to physical devices, like opening and closing circuit breakers rapidly until they fail. But the most insidious attack is masquerade. The attacker feeds the operator false data. The system looks fine on the screen, but in reality, the dam is overflowing or the grid is seconds from collapse. This entire sequence is the precise thing that critical infrastructure protection is designed to prevent. It's a layered defense, a shield against everything from the common criminal to the state-sponsored digital army. Let's imagine a successful attack, not a small data breach, but a widespread coordinated attack on the power grid of a major metropolitan area. The lights go out, and they don't come back on. Hospitals rely on generators, but fuel delivery stops. Critical life support systems run on borrowed time. Traffic lights die. Chaos erupts on the streets. First responders can't navigate. Water pumps stop working. In hours, clean water pressure drops. Within a day, sanitation fails. Financial markets halt. The cost is not just measured in immediate damage, but in lost productivity, lost confidence, and lost lives. That is the true stakes of this high-production cybercrime documentary. The economic cost of a severe, sustained cyber attack on critical infrastructure can run into trillions of dollars, but the human cost is truly immeasurable. It's why organizations like the FBI, CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, and Interpol treat these infrastructure hacks with the same urgency as a physical terrorist threat. The reality is that the threat is not just digital. A successful cyber attack can cascade into a physical disaster, or a natural disaster can expose digital vulnerabilities. That's why CIP demands a defense-in-depth strategy. This means protecting not just the code, but the people, the physical fences, and the emergency response plans. The struggle for CIP is constant. It requires resilience, the ability to not only withstand an attack, but to rapidly recover and restore essential functions before the disruption becomes catastrophic. So, where do we go from here? The battle for the digital foundations of our society is fought by the CIP professionals, but the responsibility ultimately rests on every single node, every person connected to the system. If you work in a critical industry, your actions are the first line of defense. But for everyone watching, the takeaways are about the fundamentals of a hardened digital life. First, the power of isolation. If a system is critical, it must be isolated. For organizations, this means rigorous network segmentation. The IT and OT environments should be separate, with strict access controls and monitoring on the few bridges that connect them. For you, this means using a VPN and keeping personal devices off critical work networks. Second, multi-factor, your digital deadbolt. Every CIP standard on the planet mandates strong multi-factor authentication, or MFA. Your password is a lock. MFA is the deadbolt. It's the simplest, most effective step to stop lateral movement and account takeover. The two critical steps in the kill chain we discussed. Enable it everywhere you can. Third, patching the weak points. Most successful breaches exploit vulnerabilities that have been known for months, sometimes years. These are called known exploits. Patches and updates are not just annoyances. They are literal security bandages. Vulnerability management must be constant and prioritized. Fourth, the human firewall. The weakest link in any digital defense is always the human element. The initial phishing email, the lost laptop. Social engineering is the art of manipulation. It bypasses firewalls and AI by targeting trust. Be skeptical. Always verify before you click. Verify before you open. And verify before you share credentials. This is the human firewall. Critical infrastructure protection is the ultimate high-stakes game. It's the quiet war being fought every second to ensure that the fabric of our lives, the power, the water, in the roads, don't suddenly vanish in a puff of smoke or a flicker of code. The stakes are everything. We may not always see the defense, but we certainly feel the failure. Be aware. Be vigilant. Be the solution. Stay safe. Stay anonymous. This is the Digital Sleuth.